Imagine standing beneath a mountain built entirely by human hands. Its stones rise above the desert like a staircase toward the heavens. Its four sides point almost perfectly north, south, east, and west. Deep inside, narrow passages disappear into darkness, leading toward chambers that have remained silent for more than 4,000 years. This is the Great Pyramid of Giza. It has been measured, entered, robbed, explored, photographed, and scanned. Yet despite centuries of investigation, some of its greatest secrets remain unanswered. How did ancient builders move millions of blocks without modern machinery? Why were strange chambers and shafts hidden inside it? What happened to the pharaoh who was supposedly buried there? And could undiscovered rooms still exist behind its enormous limestone walls? The Great Pyramid is not mysterious because we know nothing about it. It is mysterious because every answer seems to reveal another question. Our story begins more than 45 centuries ago, during Egypt's Old Kingdom. The ruler of Egypt was Pharaoh Khufu, known as Cheops to later Greek writers. He inherited a wealthy, organized kingdom and a tradition of pyramid building established by earlier rulers. Khufu's father, Sneferu, had commissioned several pyramids. Some experienced serious structural problems. The pyramid at Meidum partly collapsed, while the angle of the bent pyramid had to be changed during construction. These failures taught Egyptian architects valuable lessons. Khufu selected the Giza Plateau for his own monument. It overlooked the Nile Valley and stood close enough to the river for building materials to arrive by boat. The pyramid would become the center of an enormous funerary complex containing temples, smaller pyramids, ceremonial roads, boat pits, and tombs for officials. To the Egyptians, this was more than a grave. They believed the king would join the gods after death and continue protecting Egypt. Khufu was building a doorway into eternity. When completed, the Great Pyramid stood approximately 146 meters high. Each side of its base measured around 230 meters. For nearly 38 centuries, it remained the tallest human-made structure on Earth. The pyramid contains more than 2 million stone blocks of different sizes. Most were cut from limestone found near Giza. Fine white casing stones came from Tura across the Nile, while heavy granite was transported from Aswan, hundreds of kilometers away. Originally, the monument looked very different. Smooth white limestone covered its surface, reflecting the Egyptian sunlight. From a distance, it may have appeared like a brilliant artificial mountain rising from the desert. Before laying the first courses, surveyors created an extremely level foundation. They also aligned the sides remarkably closely with the 4 cardinal directions. The builders had no satellites, electronic instruments, or modern compasses. They may have studied stars, measured shadows, or combined several surveying techniques. The exact method remains debated, but whatever system they used, the result reveals extraordinary knowledge of observation, mathematics, and practical engineering. Popular films often show enslaved people building the pyramid while guards crack whips behind them. Archaeological evidence tells a different story. Near Giza, researchers uncovered workers' settlements containing bakeries, storage rooms, tools, pottery, animal bones, and sleeping areas. The workforce appears to have included permanent craftsmen alongside temporary laborers who may have worked when the annual Nile flood interrupted farming. These people were organized into teams. They included stonecutters, haulers, builders, cooks, boat crews, administrators, and medical workers. Hidden above the king's chamber, explorers discovered painted markings left by construction gangs. Some crews proudly used names connected with Khufu. Even stronger evidence was found at Wadi al-Jarf near the Red Sea. Archaeologists uncovered ancient papyri, including the diary of an official named Merer. His records describe workers transporting fine limestone by boat from Tura toward Khufu's pyramid project. Merer did not explain every construction technique, but his diary revealed a carefully managed system of boats, canals, supplies, schedules, and supervisors. The Great Pyramid was not created by magic. It was created by human organization on an almost unbelievable scale. Transporting blocks across the ground was difficult, but possible. Workers probably placed stones on wooden sledges and dragged them using ropes. Ancient Egyptian artwork shows liquid being poured onto sand in front of a sledge. Modern experiments suggest that damp sand could reduce friction and make heavy loads easier to pull. But moving stones upward was a greater challenge. Most archaeologists believe ramps were used, although nobody knows their exact design. One theory suggests a long, straight ramp rising from the desert. Another proposes ramps that zigzagged up one face. A third imagines a ramp wrapping around the pyramid, while another suggests that part of the route may have passed through the monument itself. Each theory solves certain problems but creates others. A straight ramp would require an enormous amount of material. A wrapping ramp could hide the corners needed for accurate measurements. An internal ramp would be difficult to prove without exploring deeper inside the structure. The builders may have used several methods, changing their system as the pyramid rose. Ramps, ropes, wooden supports, and levers probably worked together. We understand the tools. What remains mysterious is the exact choreography. The original entrance is located high on the northern face. From there, a narrow passage descends through the pyramid and continues into the natural rock below it. At the bottom lies a rough underground chamber that was apparently never completed. Why was it abandoned? Perhaps the architects changed their plans. Perhaps the room served a symbolic purpose. No surviving inscription provides an answer. An ascending passage leads toward the interior of the pyramid. One route reaches the room traditionally called the Queen's Chamber, although there is no strong evidence that a queen was intended to rest there. A large, empty niche dominates one wall. Its purpose remains unknown. Narrow shafts extend from the chamber into the surrounding masonry. Small robotic vehicles sent into these shafts encountered blocking stones fitted with copper pieces. Some researchers believe the shafts represented spiritual pathways through which the king's soul could reach the stars. Others think they served practical or ceremonial functions. Inside the Great Pyramid, even familiar names can be misleading. The Queen's Chamber may not have belonged to a queen, and the so-called air shafts may never have carried air. Beyond the lower passages, the interior suddenly opens into the Grand Gallery. This enormous sloping corridor climbs through the heart of the pyramid. Its walls rise in overlapping layers, narrowing toward the ceiling. Walking through it feels less like entering a tomb and more like entering the machinery of a stone giant. Slots positioned along the sides may once have supported wooden beams or equipment. Some researchers think the gallery was used while moving granite blocks. Others believe it helped hold the stones that sealed the upper passages after Khufu's burial. At the top is the king's chamber. The room is built mainly from red granite and contains a plain stone sarcophagus. The sarcophagus is wider than the passage leading into the chamber, meaning it was probably installed while the pyramid was being constructed. No mummy was discovered inside it. No royal treasure remained. Above the chamber are 5 low spaces designed partly to manage the enormous weight overhead. Construction markings inside them include names connected with Khufu. But was this truly his burial chamber? Or could another chamber remain hidden elsewhere? The Great Pyramid was probably robbed during ancient times. Egypt experienced periods of political instability when royal tombs were attacked and valuable objects stolen. By the time detailed accounts of the pyramid were written, its original contents had already disappeared. No confirmed remains of Khufu have ever been found. Only a tiny ivory statue provides a surviving three-dimensional image confidently associated with him. It is strangely modest for the ruler responsible for the largest pyramid in Egypt. Later visitors created fantastic explanations for the empty monument. Some claimed it preserved knowledge from a lost civilization. Others believed it contained secret prophecies, magical energy, astronomical codes, or hidden libraries. Modern stories sometimes credit aliens with its construction, but these claims ignore the evidence surrounding Giza. Egyptian quarries, tools, earlier pyramids, workers' settlements, administrative records, temples, tombs, and construction markings. The Great Pyramid did not appear from nowhere. It developed from generations of Egyptian experimentation. Its true creators were human, which makes their achievement more impressive rather than less. During the 9th century, workers traditionally connected with Caliph al-Ma'mun forced a rough tunnel through the pyramid's northern side. According to later legends, they expected to discover treasure. Instead, they eventually reached the ancient passages and found the interior almost completely empty. Centuries later, explorers used increasingly destructive methods. In 1837, British officer Howard Vyse investigated the spaces above the king's chamber. His team used gunpowder to force routes through the masonry, an approach no responsible archaeologist would accept today. Yet the exploration revealed hidden construction markings and additional chambers. Other visitors drilled holes, removed objects, carved names into stone, or searched for imaginary treasure. The pyramid has therefore been shaped not only by its builders, but also by thousands of years of curiosity, greed, damage, and discovery. Every generation believed it might finally solve the mystery. Instead, most simply added another chapter to it. Today, the Great Pyramid has an uneven, flattened summit. Its original top has disappeared, along with most of the polished outer casing. Earthquakes loosened some stones, while many casing blocks were later removed and reused in buildings around Cairo. A small number survived near the base, showing how carefully the original surface was finished. The final capstone is often called a pyramidion. No one knows exactly what happened to it. It may have been made from limestone or granite. Some imagine it covered with gold or electrum, allowing it to shine in the sun, although direct evidence for such a covering on Khufu's pyramid has not survived. Was the capstone stolen? Was it destroyed during an earthquake? Or was the summit left slightly unfinished? The mystery reminds us that the pyramid we see today is not the monument Khufu's people saw. We are looking at its weathered skeleton. Modern researchers can now investigate the pyramid without cutting through its stones. One method uses particles called muons, which are produced when cosmic rays strike Earth's atmosphere. Muons can travel through stone, but empty spaces allow more of them to pass. By measuring these particles, scientists can search inside the pyramid almost as if they were using an enormous X-ray machine. In 2017, the Scan Pyramids project announced the detection of a large unknown void above the Grand Gallery. 3 different detection methods confirmed its existence. The space appears to extend for at least 30 meters, but researchers still do not know its exact shape or purpose. In 2023, another hidden corridor was revealed behind the stones above the original northern entrance. A tiny camera showed a narrow passage with a pointed ceiling. It may have helped redirect weight away from the entrance. It could also connect to another unexplored feature. These discoveries proved something remarkable. Even after centuries of investigation, large sections of the Great Pyramid remain beyond human reach. Archaeological evidence strongly supports the conclusion that the Great Pyramid was built as the center of Khufu's funerary complex. But calling it a tomb does not explain everything. For ancient Egyptians, a royal tomb was more than a place for a body. It was a symbol of creation, political authority, resurrection, and the king's journey into the heavens. The pyramid may have represented the first mound rising from the waters of chaos. Its shape may have reflected rays of sunlight. Its northern orientation may have connected Khufu with stars that never disappeared below the horizon. We know who built the monument. We know where much of its stone originated. We know the names of some workers. We understand parts of its transportation network and the long development of Egyptian engineering. Yet we still lack a complete building plan. We do not know the purpose of every shaft, chamber, and hidden void. We do not know what happened to Khufu's body, treasure, or capstone, and we cannot be certain that every room has been discovered. Perhaps the greatest mystery is not how an impossible monument was built. Perhaps it is why we find it so difficult to believe that human beings built it. For more than 45 centuries, the Great Pyramid has watched kingdoms rise and disappear. Its surface has faded, its treasures have vanished, and many of its stones have been taken away. But the monument still stands. Future discoveries may answer some of its secrets. Yet with every hidden corridor and unexplored space, the Great Pyramid continues to remind us that the ancient world has not revealed everything. Thanks for watching Mark's History Channel. Leave a like, subscribe, and join us again as we uncover another extraordinary mystery from history.